can participate in the information gathering and the information sharing. And it's, to a certain degree, a kind of market-based information system, okay? And that is what's really very fascinating, what's different from a payment perspective. And then the obviously really interesting part is that the Bitcoin itself is data, right? It's a string of numbers, right? It's not just a piece of paper, but it's a string of data created and generated by software that is given value, and it is undergirded by faith, in the same extent that perhaps faith in a normal currency is backed by faith. But the faith in that currency is generated by certain digital communities as opposed to national communities, right? The participants in that community of faith ultimately give that data the value that the other participants in that system agree exists, okay? Now, that's really a 21st century phenomenon. It's a 21st century phenomenon because on the one hand, you have these new platforms and data and young geniuses at Penn State who are sitting around and attempting to create the computational models by which you can continually process that data, right? And at the same time, it is responding to a world that just generally is faced with a variety or growing skepticism about finance, about money, about counterparties in finance, all right? And then you have the regulators. Now, as I said, I'm a law professor over at Georgetown as well. And one of the main reasons one goes to law school is because they can't do high-powered computational models that would allow them to be hedge fund advisors and private equity individuals, okay? So, and my students grow up to become fancy lawyers and regulators. And it's useful to sort of think a bit about, like, what then is the place of a regulator in this world, in which we generally have to open up our dictionary to remember exactly what an algorithm is. After all, again, that's why I went to law school. But then you have to figure out particularly what is the infrastructure behind that system, and what are the relative weaknesses, and what are the relative strengths of that infrastructure, and then how does it relate to your own specific mandate, right, as a regulatory agency. Now,